you're a Kongwu, you got to drop high here. You can't drop this far. Like, don't worry about Gobert. There's backside help everywhere for Gobert, all right? But I mean, this is just a little too easy. Awful switch. If you are switching this screen, you need to be up, level to the screener, in a defensive stance with your feet set, ready to guard. Bogdanovic is not feet set in a defensive stance, ready to guard. You have to rotate on a pick and pop. Stop. So Bogdanovic has got to get up here. Like this player's not getting over to Towns. So Bogdanovic has got to rotate there. All right? If a skip pass gets made here, this player rotates here and you come back down. Or John Collins comes back down. But it doesn't matter because if you don't rotate, you're just giving up. This is too easy. Okay, if you're John Collins and you want to play the gaps, you got to get down here already now because your feet have to be set. You have to be in a defensive stance. Look at John Collins here. Look at his feet going inward, so you're not going to get back out to Towns. Okay, so if you're John Collins here, you're guarding Karl Anthony Towns. Stop. Shot goes up. Like, don't stand and watch like you're doing. Get right into Karl Anthony Towns. You got to box him out. Like, what? You're just standing and staring. This Hawks player doing this is another awful switch. Just get up here, be ready to guard in a defensive stance. What are you doing? You're moving, you're going uphill. Conley's going downhill, and you're giving him... God, that is atrocious. Karl Anthony Towns has not come off a screen yet. Stop. So Saddiq Bey should just be guarding Karl Anthony Towns right now. If Karl Anthony Towns comes off this screen, then you get underneath the screener and switch. But right now, you're switching nothing. Karl Anthony Towns hasn't moved. So this player now has to guard Karl Anthony Towns. He's not ready to guard him. Look at that. I mean, he's flying uphill as Towns going downhill. Why are the Hawks switching here? There is no screen about to be set. So just stay with your man, stay underneath your man, battle for real estate, initiate contact as he's coming through. But you switch incredibly late and incredibly pointlessly. So now Taurean Prince is too low. Cannot start and drop coverage here like this Hawks player is doing, fighting over the top of the screen, and then say, you know what, let's actually switch. Because this player isn't ready to switch. Look at Saddiq Bey is not ready to switch. So this pass gets made and it's just rip and go. This shot goes up. You cannot... John Collins, if you're going to stare at the shot, start sprinting back then, because that accomplishes nothing, and this player certainly should be sprinting back. Trae Young should be too. Like, or this. If you're in drop coverage on a pick and pop, you got to rotate. Stop. So when this pass gets made, Clint Capella's got to come up here. John Collins comes here. I mean... So this shot's already up. This John Collins, you can't backpedal back. You have to sprint back. See, you're backpedaling back right now. All right? We know this because look where you are on the floor right here. You should be here in a defensive stance ready to guard. You're not. Okay, this is a disaster. The Hawks are in drop coverage. This player hasn't moved. You gotta be in backside help. Okay? If your feet are set and you're in a defensive stance and a skip pass is made, you can recover, okay? But if this pass gets made, which you just allowed, now this is not a skip pass anymore, either of these players. So, yeah. This is a stagger screen. You cannot go up the gut this way. You go this way. Look at the angle you take when you go up the gut. I mean, please. Okay, so if Clint Capella comes to double here, all right, this Hawks player obviously has to rotate here. Well, because you don't want Rudy Gobert to just have a drop-off pass possibly, but you also got to rotate and box out. Like, this is now your box-out assignment, and this Hawks player is just staring at the shot, and that's a massive problem. So Karl Anthony Towns is facing you up right now. He's not posting you up. So get your feet set and be in a defensive stance. See, this is not a defensive stance with your hand on Karl Anthony Towns. Now look, now you're backpedaling, you're gambling and back. I mean, it's just horrible defense. Bad switch. This time it's Bogdanovich, because you have to get underneath the screener when you switch. You battle for real estate, you initiate contact. When you switch over the top like this, now that draws a backside defender in for no reason, and now the corner's open. Not have this laziness for Onyeka Okongwu. You need to be sprinting back, get in a defensive stance with your feet set. Look at this laziness. Are you ready to guard the ball right now? Because your man is receiving the ball. No, you are not. So first of all, this shot goes up. Stop. Why are these Hawks players just staring at the shot? You should start to sprint back now. All right. So that's already a problem. Like, this is... Okay, so if you'd been sprinting back the whole way, this player would be easily able to take the ball, this player would be easily in front of this Timberwolves player, and this player could guard here. But none of that, of course, is the case. The same thing. John Collins has got to slide over here. This pass to Gobert can't get made. If a skip pass is made and you're in a defensive stance with your feet set, you'll be able to recover. But again, the pass gets made. So these, like, for example, right here, this is no longer a skip pass. Communicate in transition. Right now, first of all, neither player's seeing Taurean Prince, but so DeAndre Hunter's got to say, I got Taurean Prince. So Trae Young can go find somebody else to guard. Like, look at this. 2 Hawks guarding 1 Timberwolves player. You're Trae Young. Get in a defensive stance with your feet set, with your back to the baseline, so you're seeing ball and man. You're not doing any of those things. So look what happens now. Because you're not in a defensive stance, your feet were taking you backward. So now when this player gets it, he can just rip and go right by you. Okay, if you want to get in the gaps defensively, your feet must be set and in a defensive stance. Look at this Hawks player. Moving his feet inward. You ain't getting outward now. Okay, so Trae Young's guarding Jaden McDaniels. As soon as Jaden McDaniels starts to come this way, Trae Young's got to battle for real estate, and then he has to be the one to initiate contact. Because look who's the one that's initiating contact. Now it's Jaden McDaniels. Now he's got you sealed, flying the other way, and now you have no chance of guarding him. That draws a double. Rudy Gobert dunk. John Collins is late to get out to Naz Reid. Stop. He's not going to be able to guard Naz Reid. Look, no chance. So this player's coming into the gaps a little late. You're going to see him come in the gaps. You got to come in now. And John Collins has got to get up and play on Naz Reid's side. So now I'm forcing him right, and now I can stunt. I can easily recover. But John Collins, like, this all doesn't happen. If you're Trae Young right here, you stop. You need to get up. You need to force Conley here. You want this drop coverage here because now Capella can drop high. Because now this player needs to drop, but he'd be right here in backside help. If a skip pass is made and you're in a defensive stance with your feet set, you can easily recover. But see, when the ball gets run here, there is no backside help for Gobert, so Capella's got to play off, and this just results in a practice 3.